David, am I audible?
Yeah, this is much better now.
Okay. Right. I don't know. Our audience seems like they're having Thanksgiving, you know?
They will join. I sent it to my team also. My team still will be joining. I think they should start training very soon.
Mhm.
But is it recorded? It's good for it to be recorded also.
Yeah. As soon as we start, we can go ahead and record it. All right.
Yeah.
Mhm. We can wait minutes and see how it looks like, and then get going. Okay. Seems like people will be joining a little bit late. We can start at 10.
Okay, perfect.
Mm. Give it 5 more minutes. For the people that are just joining now, we are just giving it 3 more minutes, okay? To let other people join in our just. Okay. We'll be starting at 2:10 GMT within the next 3 minutes. All right. All right. Seems like we get in there. Give it a little bit more time, and then we gonna launch it in 2 minutes. Right. Um, Welcome everybody. Am I audible? Are you guys able to hear me well? Perfect. Thanks all. It's a pleasure to have you guys with us today to discuss about or to reflect upon one of the most important topics related to our ecosystem, um, the future of work in Africa. Um, in order for a business to be a business, you have to have people, you have to have employees, you have to have talent. Um, you create the strategy, the culture, and the people within the company refer to that to build the company, right? You can scale, you can get anywhere without having the right people at the right places doing the right things. So I say this is one of the most important topics of our ecosystem because of all of those things, right? So we have a seasoned entrepreneur here with us, David. I'll give him the floor and let him introduce himself. And we have eventually Emmanuel that will be joining us um, around like in 20 minutes. Okay. With that being said, I'll let David take over the floor and introduce himself, talk about the things that he do, and from there we'll go on to discuss more in depth about this topic. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much for the warm introduction. Okay. My name is David Adeleke. I'm the co-founder of Z Africa. So basically at Z Africa, we're leveraging open banking to close the $360 billion credit gap in Africa, which we started from Nigeria by offering variety suites of products, ranging from the KYC to credit bureau check, down to a recently upgraded feature that we just launched again, or relaunched rather, which is direct debits. I mean, there is no good time to talk about the future of work than now. At least we can first of all say that we are a little bit well out of COVID already. Because these are like certain pivotal moments that disrupted everything around work culture, and work ethics and whatnot. So everybody is now settling in, and they're choosing whether they are going into fully remote or fully back to physical office, or people are still staying in between as hybrid. So I mean, yeah, it's interesting to like dissect and talk more about it as we go on. So I'm glad to be here once again, and thank you, Amit, for this platform.
Absolutely. A lovely introduction, and obviously you're doing great things with Z Africa. The numbers, the traction shows for itself, and then obviously you're doing that with people that are helping you get there, right? So it's great to have you here, and we're looking forward to the some of the great things that you're gonna share with us. With that being said, we'll move towards the main topic and the questions that we're gonna be going through. Without like any delay now, I'll go ahead and ask the most important question probably that we can ask during this conversation. Um, what does the future of work in Africa mean to you personally? And where do you see the biggest shift happening right now?
Okay, so I think we'll be talking more. Okay, let me use we'll be talking more with Africa, right? So first of all, well, just like I said in my intro statement, right? To add to that, there is a popular saying that goes thus that if you want to go fast, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go with people, right? That's kind of trickles down into future of work, wherein you work with people to work with you. So bringing that to Africa, first of all, statistically, Africa actually is going to be servicing if not close to 50% of the world job demand by the next, I think, 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, or the 10 years max most, or let's say from 2030. And why do I say so? At least Africa has, I think, 1.2 billion people, 1.4. I'm not certain anymore. At least we have well over 8 billion people as a continent. And it's interesting to know that out of this population, in the next 5 to 10 years, right, 50% of that population would be the Gen Alphas. Why Gen Alphas? These are like people that are from 2010 and above in terms of their age bracket. And these guys, they are not just young, they are digitally inclined. So they are tech savvy, that's one. And they are very, very industrious. So that will also trickle into the fact that, like I said, we are just settling in out of the old post-COVID era, which was a major disruption, especially when it comes to the future of work. And we're seeing quite a number of, we've seen the possibility of how it is to connect the whole world into one place. As first we thought the world was very big, but COVID kind of made us see that the world is not that big as we think it was. Like it's pretty small. I can sit now in Canada and manage a team from Nigeria, Ghana, US effectively, right? Through different platforms that has popped up thanks to COVID, which is one of the good things that we still see, even though it has a lot of bad side, right? So now, with this in place, Africa on its own is now poised already, right, to be able to service these markets. I mean, this growing demand of talent, because why? They have the resources, they have the manpower. I mean, maybe over where we go now, we'll still talk about the downside that Africa is facing, right? But at this moment, right, what the future of work is going to look like, or what's going to be defined now for the Africa is going to be a situation where it's either going to drive value for people in terms of work, or it's going to drive value for people in terms of quote unquote frustration. Yeah, because now, when I mean frustration, it's going to be both on the employer and the employee side, because there is going to be hardly a way wherein we would be able to, like, no matter how hard, yeah, I mean, I'm sitting on the employer side on this conversation now, no matter how hard we try to like track and monitor the work rates of the employees, even though you set like clear cut expectations, right? For any employee to meet certain target and employee, that means they are going out of their way. And in a way, that means some of them might be working beyond the 9 to 5, such that they want to like compensate for meeting up with certain expectation. Because if you're not meeting it up, then on the employee's part, on the employer part, they will feel like, okay, perhaps because this staff member is working remotely, maybe they are somewhere at home doing something else, which obviously is the case, whether you like it or not. Most often than usual, you get to see them doing what's something way different from what they're supposed to do that's in their contract, right? So those are like kind of baggages that come with it. So as I said, it's going to be categorized into two, whether you're driving value in terms of job or frustration. So frustration on the employee part, wherein they get to work overtime, or whether they don't even work at all, and if they're not working at all, right, it's going to tell on the employer part. So it's the employer that will feel the what's it called, the frustration. So the other side is the balance, where there is some sense of ownership and accountability on both the employer and the employee, where everybody share a common goal, a common vision of, okay, yeah, this is what we're trying to do, this is where we're going to, and we're going to work effectively to like get it without having, because what the major shift that's going to be in effect now is the fact that as against to the previous, I mean, physical monitoring. I mean, we're working in the same office, I can see you face to face, I'll see that you're working, you're not working, whether you complete or you don't complete. Now it's more of building trust. I just have to like trust this person. Okay, yeah, this person is going to deliver. So that's like we're going to see way more of it. And that's some people couldn't balance it and they had to like resort into telling their staff to resume back to the office. But it has still left that gap already. And there is going to be a more and more adoption of remote work placement, at the very best hybrid, where you tell them 1 day off, 2 days on, and 1 day semi off, whatever that means. I don't know. So yeah, that's basically what future of work is all about, and where I think Africa is going to head to in a couple of years.
Perfect. Great. There are a few things that really stood out for me. Again, we'll go back to our continent being young, wonderful continent, a lot of opportunities, and obviously, a lot of people. We have a lot of young people, right? Most of our population is young, more than 50% of our population, right? And obviously, that is going to drive the workforce of the world. Within the next few years, and that is due to the fact that we are moving towards remote jobs, and well, COVID has obviously helped also on that. Right now, you talk about some issues related to trust, right, with the remote works and stuff. Now, knowing that we moving towards towards like an African workforce that's gonna play a huge role in the world, how can we mitigate trust between employers and employees, right? Knowing that they're in a remote, right? What strategies can we put in place to ensure that the external people or the African companies that will be working remotely will create a healthy, trustful environment for the employees and the employer to work together, and the deliverables are met within the time that is given, right?
Okay, so that's an interesting question, right? And I'll just highlight a couple of, I think, maybe ideas that I think of that I think should work, and I am practicing and it works, right? Because there is no one single way to like mitigate that, like to build trust. But the first one I would still pick out would be your hiring process. So at first, myself, I think I'm quite flexible on hiring. You just see someone, you like their skills, right? You onboard them. Nah, it doesn't work anymore, actually, right? There is way more than someone knowing how to get the job done, right? It's more, you can get the job done, but the question is, do you even have the right attitude, right, to get that same job done? Because most people come into the workplace now, especially once they see that it's remote, they kind of come with the mindset. They come with the freelancing attitude, and it's a component for a reason, right? Where you're supposed to work with a team, wherein what you do affects the next person. But most people that, I mean, since it's remote, they just feel, oh yeah, what's it called? They just bring their freelancing mindset into the game, and it stunts the growth because they are now like a burden to other people. That does not mean that they are not good, right? But yet they can't like collaborate. So ways to mitigate that would be from your hiring process. You want to spend time talking to whatever prospects they are, ensuring that after you've analyzed this person, that you know this person is a good fit for the job in terms of skill or skills wise, right? Then the next question is those other extra things in terms of being a team player, in terms of being accountable. And I keep saying it's either they have it or they don't have it. If they have it, it's good. If they don't have it, it's going to be quite a tough job for them to like. So that's why there's probation period. So you also put them on probation and let them know, okay, these are places you need to grow. So these are things that can build trust, right? Then I think this one will be directed at employees all out there. They keep getting the misconception of what remote job is versus part-time. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people mix it up. Like they think remote job is equivalent to like freelancing on part-time. So when you're filling in those three options, they will say either on-site, hybrid, or remote. It's not whether full-time contracts or consultancy or whatnot. So people mix it up just to like clear the difference, right? When they say remote, it means if assuming you're going to an office and you're meant to resume work 8 o'clock and you're supposed to close by 5 o'clock, you're supposed to set up your workstation if you're working remotely, wherein you resume to that workstation. The only difference now is you can work at the comfort of your home as against having to like go through transport and whatnot and this, right? So expected to like resume it and close by 5 wherever you are, either working from a workstation, working from home, having then get your internet to be good, quiet place also, right? These are things that will build trust actually, and this is from the employee side of things, right? Then finally would be what would I call it? Reward and punishment measures. So it should be very clear on your contract, on your agreement, such that it's not bringing any rift between the team members. So fine, they might apologize, good, but you have to still follow the rule of law, such that if certain violations are being broken, right, there are certain conditions that would be met. I mean, certain penalties that come in line, and also you also reward good works also in terms of when review period comes in. So I could go on and on, but these are like some very key metrics that once they're put into place, it can grow that trust, and across all the stakeholders, they can work together, not just in fear, but also with a common and shared purpose.
Very good. Very good. That great answer with a lot of great data. Thank you for that again. I feel like we solve the problem from the root, right? You talked about it. The employment process. That's where you should try to figure out, right, what type of employee they are and how they work, right? The process of like just looking at the resume and approving and having a 1 hour interview with that person doesn't seem to be do it anymore, right? And probation, you talked about it, reward and some actions that needs to be taken if the work isn't done is another one. So yeah, a whole pipeline of let's say ideas on how to mitigate it. Right now, if we stay within that same spectrum under that, you have a lot of experience now. You've done some great work, obviously, and you've brought in good people. Now, how could you tell us a story of one of the greatest process that you've put in place, or like one of the greater process of interview that you've done with an employee? How did it end, right? And how is that employee doing, right? So on and so forth. So take us through it, or if you have a process that you already have in place, go on, take us through it, right?
So it's been, I'll call it a work in progress, right? Because we keep sending update every time on whatever company policy it is. I think we just even did another one like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I'm sure my guys will be like, okay, are we having update company policy update every market today? But yes, it's very important because everybody is also learning and we're getting better. Not just even that, the fact that the company is growing. So whatever it is we used to do as when we are quote unquote a startup won't apply again as we're expanding. expanding in clients, now talking to like some more professional, like big clients as against before. So that means a lot of things that we're doing that we kind of like give a pass to shouldn't be. That was a little bit on the left. So back to the question, right? Processes, including in involving in hiring. So I think I already entered on one before was that was basically me following just skills, right? Once this person is good, I think there's a way for me to see if someone is smart or not, right? However, you have realized that it's not just about whether you can do the job, especially now that we've got into an era where there is AI. Everybody can do anything now with the help of AI. I can become a data analyst in 1 week now with AI. I mean, let me even make it as worse as I can become a lawyer and an accountant in 1 week with the help of AI. So everybody can do anything, everybody can be everything, right, with the help of AI. So the question now is, what are those unique skills that makes you stand out from the other person? So these are metrics that we have put into place now. So I've extended my interview period. I mean, people that join the team early, they are lucky. They've gone, what's it called? They've scaled through, because anybody that is coming in now, they will spend at least 2 weeks to 1 month during different calls. I mean, it might just be a moment of silence, just observing the person, right? So the goal is to like space out your recruitment process so you can understand the person's end to end. That's one, and it's working. Then two also would be, I mean, now this is a new stuff we've put into place. I set up like a quick test and a quick exam. In terms, so once you're coming on board, I'll give you a questionnaire. I will on my camera so that you don't use ChatGPT on me, or you don't use AI again on me. I'll be watching you how you're doing it. Most likely even ask you to share your screen. So I'll give you a set of questionnaire. Then I'll use that one to like, so it's going to be an interesting, it's not just maths, it's going to be how your problem solving skills. That's what the questionnaire is all about, to like test how well you can improvise, how well you can think. So we've done that. Then the other one, right, the last one that I should just touch based on because of time would be creating a clear growth path in the company, right? So that's one thing that a lot of people kind of feel stuck. I mean, they are all excited, interested to come in at first. They want to like give in their best. And you notice that over the time, their energy just drop, right? And one of the reasons is because there is nothing big for them to look forward to, nothing, no growth path for them, right? So that's something we've worked on. We've created a growth path already, such that, okay, you can know you can start at this level. And you know that, okay, if you give your best into it, whether you like it or not, you would be at so level, except you're not giving your best, right? And you can, after you spend certain period, you can look back and see whether you've grown or not. Then, okay, let me just chip this last one in also. There is also no dead weight, right? So some people, no dead weight in the sense that if you're not growing, then you don't belong in the team. It's not just about, okay, fine, I'm there, I'm doing well, blah, blah, blah. Doing well is not just being on a member of it. It's not just for us to have head counts. It's more of how valuable are you to the team, to the whole company goal at large, right? So you have to grow, either personally as yourself, which obviously should kind of like have some direct or indirect benefit to the company, or you are growing also at the company. There is no more room for just stagnancy. Yeah. So I'm going to put a pause there and give the mic back to you.
Very good. Very good. Obviously, a lot of good stuff. One of the most important things, I bring it up always, we cannot outsource our prefrontal cortex, right? It's good to use AI, but it's even better if like we can use it just for automation and things that we can use our brain still to resolve problems. And yes, testing people on problems is is extremely important, right? Because then you see the way they think, the way they come to a conclusion, and from there you can decide whether they are someone that you would want to work with, right? Definitely. And obviously, on the other side, the growth of the employees. It's good to have good employees that are working really well in a good environment. But if you have A players, let's say they want to challenge themselves, they want to improve, they want to get better, right? So it's up to um, companies, right, to be able to also figure out a way or to create an environment of challenge, of learning, of improvement. Then you get to not only acquire your good talent, but you get to keep them as well, which is extremely important. And one of the things that I like the most about this is the ability to recognize toxic, right? Dead weight, you called it. Um, one B or C player within your team can affect the performance of the whole company or the whole team, and hence things starts going down, right? Which is extremely good to mention. Now, with that being said, though, I want to then stay there again, ask another question related to that. So, by when do you take a decision of like letting go someone, right? What are the processes that you put in place to say someone isn't good enough anymore, right? Let's say you get to it, but like
So I think,
the per C player. Yeah.
okay, in all honesty on that question, I think I'm still having an internal conflict on that, right? And that's one of the reasons why I had to get an HR person. And I mean, when you assign that person's KPI to who should stay and who should go, they will do it
Mm,
without. I mean, I think I'm a bit soft, kind of, but I'm trying not to see myself as that. Um,
mm,
so that's why you have to put policies into place and get an HR person, right?
mm,
And that person's KPI is determined on who is performing, who is not performing, who is doing what they're supposed to do, who is not doing what they're supposed to do, right? That's why there is like your organization structure that has to do with rewarding and penalizing. So you have maybe whatever, if it's quarterly, you choose to have your monthly, your performance review or your promotional review, or you have it monthly as MPR, that's monthly performance review or whatnot. And everybody gets to have a score, which is based on different factors. Factors like what's your accountability like, what's your team spirit like, what's your ownership like, how well are they contributing to the whole team. So you just have different parameters that used to score someone. Then at the end of the month, you can now have what's it called, a review, wherein you ask the line manager to give them a score, PS also to give them a score, and they themselves, you kind of like assess them. Then so someone is not doing well month one, month two, month three. So let's say, for example, your overall review cycle is maybe quarterly or every six months. So it's not just on at the maybe the Q1 or the Q2 that you get to like the person gets to like misbehave, right? It's more
mm,
of a compounded effect from every month. So the person self can track their growth. Oh, this is month one. Have I done well? Do I need to step up in month two? So someone that has a consistent and a repetitive like track record of not meeting deliverables, not growing, like on a monthly basis. So you can guess, you can bet that okay, oh, at the end of the quarter, when if you are doing a quarterly review, right, the person might not be best fit for the team at that point in time, right? Or if it's a yearly review, you can track it out, okay, from every month or every quarter, right? Or even every 5 months, you see the person's track record. And with that, you get to now decide that, hey, okay, sorry, we have to let you go based off of this. That is performance based, right? Then there are certain violations that should just be red flag for certain employees. Once they just hit those red flag, it's not negotiable. You have to show them the way out, right? So I think that's it for me. I don't feel any employer should just jump into right? Impulse, what's it called? Impulse decision on terminating someone's contract. I feel you should give them a chance. But I know it's very different from what Wise is preaching. As I said, there is a little conflict on that part for me because Wise, I mean, at least Wise have success story. They have track record of, doing things the right way. But when you look at it in hindsight, also you still see that it's a game of numbers. So while they have some very good wins, they still have a lot of like a lot of non-good wins, right? So that means whatever they are saying to might not be perfectly correct, right? So, but they have this notion in YC. Once you meet any YC founder, any YC companies that are pretty doing well, they all have this same notion of hire fast, fire fast. It's like a very fundamental principle. So they don't waste time. Once they see someone, you're not an earner, you're not a team player, you're not a grower in the company, they let you go immediately, right? So as a founder, it's just left for you to like find which one works best for you. Find your balance in between, not wanting to fire fast, but also not wanting to carry like dead weight also. So yeah. It's just everyone finding which one works best for them.
Very good. Very good. Metrics. You cannot improve what you can't measure. And you performance. And from the performance, you see how they are doing. Eventually, you have discussions with them. You take more time. Along the way, you find a way to like take them back to A level, or if things don't get better, you let them go, right? You don't leave off of dogma, right? So you make your own conclusions, not because YC has said something. Doesn't mean that it works for everybody. Obviously, everybody has their own strategies, things that work for them, for their specific market, specific company, and the culture that they have within their company, right? Brilliant. I love the answers. Now, the last question before we move towards Emmanuel. It's important to have a lean but efficient team as a startup, obviously. So if you had to go back, what are some of the mistakes that you've done that you wouldn't have done, right? And what would you put in place in order to have the best lean that helps you get to where you are right now?
Okay. Let me talk from the startup aspect of things, which might not apply to maybe like a full-blown company, like maybe like a big traditional bank, because I think it still has to stay in different. Okay, I think you have someone hands up. Maybe after this question, you can moderate that. So let me put it in the startup perspective. To keep a lean team, it actually is non-negotiable, right? For a startup, except you have some heavy pockets and you want to burn the money so fast, right? That's a different case. So it's very important to have a lean team. And one of the good recommendation I give to other founders that I mentor is your first liner, those are like people that maybe directly reports to you or people that work with you. If you have an organization flow chart, so at least there is the CEO or founder, whatnot, then there is that first set of people that are under him before there are other people down the ladder, right? So for every founder, you don't want to outsource that first liner out. You want to be the one to recruit them, because your goal there is you are communicating more than just the skills. You are looking at the people that have the vision that can carry out the goal when you are away, right? Not just that, you want them to be some set of people that are good in terms of, if they are not there, they have to like work their way up to be good in communication. Because one of the major issues that a startup, when they grow, kind of have in terms of problem is the fact that dissemination of information from top to bottom. The CEO said A, and by the time it's going down the ladder, by the time it gets to like maybe level 5, they are interpreting it as Z, and you're like, that's not what I said. So you want to like ensure that the first set of people that are under you, they are well aligned with whatever it is that you're doing. So they also now take that sense of responsibility and understanding, now trickle it down. So back to keeping the team lean, right? So you said, you asked one question again, that what did I do in terms of keeping my team lean?
So if you can cite some mistakes
Okay,
or some lessons.
I remember. Okay, so some mistake I did, right, was having certain team members, right? And I think this was like 2 years ago, last year, no, 2 years ago. I think it's 2 years ago now. This year's over, so it was last year and 2 years ago. Was having a large head count. That's one, but then everybody is now claiming that they are a professional in their field. I don't know how to put it. You imagine I'm a startup and you're telling me that I came in to do maybe I don't know which example I should make that will not look like I'm throwing shit. Okay, data scientist. Thank God I've not recruited any data scientists so far, right? Or AI engineer. So you come in, you say you're an AI engineer, right? And you cannot collaborate, you cannot function or in any other field, not necessarily as your primary duty, but just as, let's say, maybe in form of assisting. I don't know. It's not a very good thing for a startup, because I mean, every founder themselves, they can wear multiple hats, right? So at least if to a very little extent, it's kind of demanded on the core employees, right, to be able to like function not just only in one field. They should be able to like, oh, there is a problem here. I don't even need to know how to like do it, but I should be able to like give reasonable contribution, help with carrying out research, like see what you can do there. So I think that was a very big mistake, and it kind of slows down kind of. So it's required me overall in the whole team. Like it was a very tough decision to like, let's go of a certain set of people and seeing how we can now restructure it such that because there was now a situation where we had a big challenge wherein, so let me just use front end and back end. So, you know, front end handles maybe the design and back end handle logic, right? So now imagine there was now much workload on front end, and you have back end just killers, relaxing. They are non-instrumental. They can't add anything to the front end, right? And we now see, because there is more demand on front end, you know, to go and recruit more front end. The question is, when you pass that phase and you are done with that demand, like that pressure, you now have so much front end, right? And maybe at that point now in time, it's not the back end that is now facing a lot of pressure. We now say you want to go and employ new people. It's like, go and start before you just have everybody like just, you won't even, you lose control of what's going on in your whole team structure. So that's why that was like a mistake. So basically we need now a situation where people can like function in multiple roles, not necessarily as your primary role, but you should be able to like come in and help out. So yeah.
Absolutely. So in a startup stage, we need people that have can wear a lot of hats. Basically, you cannot be just a specialist in one specific field. We want to be having people do a lot of different things. Obviously, that helps the startup move forward fast. Now, eventually, as you grow bigger, obviously, you want to move towards people that know specific things. But yeah, at the early stage, obviously, the more you know, the brighter you know things, the better. Great. A lot of good things from you, David. I really appreciate it. I know we took a little bit longer, but the discussion is extremely interesting. We have Emmanuel with us. Emmanuel is he's a HR specialist, right, expert. He's just joined us. He's gonna be taking us through his experience as well. Emmanuel, we'll give you the floor and let you introduce yourself and then go from there. But before you do, I know there are a few questions. So have you, if you have questions in the meantime, you can write it down on the chat. And yes, for some of you guys that came late, we started a little bit later, like 15 minutes. If you can stay 10 to 15 minutes later than scheduled time, it's going to be better in order for us to be able to go through everything that we have planned. Okay. With that being said, Emmanuel, the floor is yours. Take us through an introduction of yourself, what you do, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm super delighted to be here. One of the favorite questions that HR asks is like, can you tell us about yourself? And everybody always find it like really difficult, including HRs, by the way. Yeah, so when people ask me to tell them about myself, I'm like, how should I tell you the HR part? Should I tell you the foodie part? Should I tell you the K-drama part? Which part of me do you want to know? But yeah, my name is Emmanuel Faith. I am an HR manager and consultant for startup. I have almost a decade experience in HR, working across different industries, finance, FMCG, renewable energy, fintech, digital media, and then I'm back to fintech. They say Africans like fintech a lot. I think that's true. But then, I mean, I am always looking for and waiting for every other possible tech in the ecosystem. Right now, I'm waiting for food tech. So if you're here and you work in food tech, just know that you have made my life easy because I don't like cooking. Outside work, I read a lot. I am an international sport journalist and I watch a lot of K-drama. That's sort of me in a bit.
Okay. Perfect. Great background. Obviously, one thing that you forgot that you didn't mention, I believe you're being humble. You are a four-time TED speaker. Obviously,
Oh yeah.
great track record. So wonderful background, and we're looking forward to the things that you're gonna share with us. Obviously, David shared some wonderful things, but we'll see on the other side as well. Right. For you, right away, what does the future of work in Africa mean to you personally? Where do you see the biggest shift happening right now? So going back to the first question.
So it's interesting. Every time I get a future of work question in my head, I'm like we're already in the now of work. Like there's literally we are in the now of work that we referenced as the future of work. A couple years back. I mean, nobody predicted COVID. Nobody predicted Claude AI and Gemini and all the AI partners being our partner today. And so if I was to talk about the future of work, I would say we're already in it. But I would also say that the future of work is where you are rewarded not just for what you bring to the table, using my Gen Z slangs, but how quickly you can adapt to new trends to provide solution and add value to the business. So you are not just rewarded for your skills and ability, you are also highly rewarded for your adaptability and innovative skills. Either you're an HR or you're a finance manager or you write code as an engineer.
Very good. Very good. So we spent some time there with David. So we'll move towards on the other side of things, where like we talk more about like retention and stuff. What are the most important strategies that small or bigger companies can put in place today in order to retain, or to attract, retain, and build talent internally?
Okay, so yeah, that's an interesting question to ask, and that could be like a masterclass on its own. But just to get a size of the audience, I don't know if we have more funders than employees and what that percentage looks like. But two or three bullet points. How to attract talent. Two three tips I often share with funders is to, at initial stage, pre-seed, pre-series A, friends and family round, that period, I think it's very important for you to hire people that want to work with you, not just for the money, because you obviously cannot pay the competitive money, right? They are looking for. So it's always exciting to hire someone who has another reason to want to work with you that is not money. And it's okay for people to want to work with you because they are building your personal profile. It's okay for people to want to work with you because they want to apply for Global Tech Talent in 2 years, right? Or they want to, I mean, when people work with you because they have selfish reasons, and the selfish reasons might be, so I'll be practical here. When I was at CarWise, we hired some set of engineers. This was 2021, by the way, who had family members that sort of been involved in fraud and they've been duped and they've been scammed with all sort of investment. So for them, they really wanted to work with an organization that is sort of financially empowering people from an educational perspective. Until date, they're still a career rise. Right. So they joined for really selfish reasons. That is selfish. But that selfish reasons then have then now opened them to other opportunities. I will talk about that in retention. But when you're attracting talent, one, always hire people who are joining you for reasons that is more than money. I think the second one is to not hire talent that you don't have the structure to get the best out of. I'll say that again. Don't hire talents that you don't have the internal structure or systems to get the best out of. Another practical illustration, because I like to be practical as possible. So you just finally, your mother's prayer has worked and your fasting and prayer have come to pass, and YC has given you 250K. So you want to go and hire a senior marketer from Google. Why? Just why? Maka, why? There are enough growth marketers in Nigeria. There are enough performance marketers in Nigeria. Because what then happens is that if you hire a shiny talent and you do not have the system and structure to enable them do their best work, you're burning a lot from a revenue perspective because you are paying high salaries and you're not getting value. But if you hire a senior growth marketer and pay the person 1.5 million or 2 million naira, they're going to do a lot of work for you, right? And they will be able to also help you build system, you grow, your system grow, and the professional grow. So those are like my two free random tips on attracting talent. On retaining talent, just one, so that I don't know how much time we have. Let people do good work, give people ownership of their work, and give them praise when they do the work. I am friends with all founders because of my role, both in my 9 to 5 and in my consulting. And I have seen a clear difference between founders that genuinely celebrate their employees, that acknowledge that a lot of milestones that they have achieved is thanks to the genius of their employees. And I've also seen the founders that come to tweet and say, oh, what is marketer doing? Oh, product manager's function is engineering lead function. And there is a clear difference between the quality of output of these organizations. So let people feel good. I'm not sure that money, I don't used to like money, by the way, right? But now that I like money, I'm not sure that money is still enough reason for anybody to want to stay at that organization. People want to do good work. People want to do memorable work. People want to do work that they can reference that, oh my God, I built that. So as a founder, as a management, you want to give people the room to do good work and let them take ownership of their work. And you will see how long they will wait. They will say like some people drop resignation like this. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me just wait 6 months. And that 6 months become 3 years, right? Yeah. And I've seen this happen. So
Very good. Very good. It's extremely interesting that obviously the truth is the truth, right? It always goes back to the same conclusion. I'm saying that because some of the things that you are saying are very similar to what David is saying, but he was taking it from a founder's perspective, right? So if I go on the first step on how to retain talent, no, how to acquire talents, right? You talked about in the beginning for startups, since we talked a lot about it, you cannot, you are not selling, you cannot pay what's on the market, right? You cannot compete, but what you're selling is the vision, the culture, and what you get out of it working with the company, right? And I can totally relate to that. Obviously, now moving on the other side, since we don't want to lose too much time there. The second one on retaining talent, it's obviously rewards. You talked about it, right? Give people the reward that they of the work that they've done. You cannot claim what other people has done. Just recognize it, right? And it's up to the leaders out there to not claim everything for themselves. Obviously, to remember the long hours of work that people have done and recognize them. It's very simple. It takes, let's say, it takes a bigger man or woman to understand this, right? From what I've observed from the best leaders that I've seen, the pattern is like when there are issues, they blame themselves, right? When things have the tendency of working, it's never them. It's always someone else, right? It's like, oh, it's because he did this or she did this, so on and so forth, right? So yeah, it's a great thing that you emphasize in that. It's important. Now, in terms of like the changes that's happening in the world with AI and remote work, how will that affect the workforce of Africa, right? How do you see that affecting the culture, the ecosystem, and how do you see Africa uh, compared to the other side of the world, right? Other continents of the world, North America, Asia, so on and so forth. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question to ask, and it's sort of double trunked, right? Because when I think of answering that question from a startup perspective, I would say that we are doing amazingly well. I am surprised at the rate of adoption that I have seen in the ecosystem across sub-Saharan Africa, because I manage talent across sub-Saharan Africa. But when you also now take a step back and look at traditional companies, then you will see the paradox. You would see that traditional companies are still holding on to their old ways of doing things. I visited my friend very recently and I had to still write my name manually and get like a physical tag. And I was like, oh my God, you people write name when you're coming to the office. That sounds bizarre to me. I'm not sure any startup is doing that at the moment, right? So I do think that from a startup perspective, we are adopting AI, artificial intelligence, obviously not at the rate at which the first world countries are, but the fact that there is a lot of curiosity and a lot of experimentations. And if you read a lot of tech cabal and tech points like me, you would see the just brilliance and geniuses that is coming out of Nigeria, of Africa. I was reading the news and I saw someone is building a platform that will help pastor project messages faster. I could not have thought of that, right? And so you just see how brilliant and how innovative. And I'm speaking at an HR conference next week, and there is a competition for HRs that have built a workflow themselves. And like, are HR supposed to be building workflows themselves? Right. And then like people are applying for this. And so you would, if HRs are building workflows themselves, they are vibe coding. That's the term they call it. You then imagine the kind of innovation that is going on in the tech. So yeah, I think that we are doing well with what we can. And I think that the trait I really want to acknowledge, shout out to everybody on this call and everybody ecosystem, is just the curiosity and the ability to experiment despite the limited resources we have. Yeah.
Yes, very good. Very good. We'll keep moving now towards the next questions. Scalability. What mistakes do African companies or startups repeatedly make when scaling from 5 people to 50 people?
No, that I was excited when I saw that question. So 3 bullet points again. Bullet point number 1, and I came in during David's session. It was talking about how he had to hire and then do a whole restructuring. And I know that we as funders, startup funders, first staff of startups, we attend different accelerators and incubators, YC, Google Accelerator, Dexters, and they all preach diverse kind of ideologies. But what has worked for me in places that I've worked and what I advise for people to do, one is that you do not have to scale as fast as your resources, right? What that means is that if you were at friends and family around that you were just 11 people, and then you did Series A, got $20 million from some investor, you don't have to move from 11 to 50. You actually can move from 11 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, and you can do that between 12 to 18 months. You do not have to scale in direct proportion to your resources. That's number one. Number two is that I have also seen that, and I say they are HR clinic, funders do not pay attention to codifying. I wanted to say defining, but sometimes they define it, but they don't codify it. They don't codify their culture. And so what happens is when they are scaling, they scale too rapidly and the culture is left behind. I remember that when I was at Rise, we moved from 16 to 31 in 90 days. But before that movement happened, we had to revisit our core values. We literally had like 6 hour strategy session to ensure that what we are redefining right now is what will take us forward, because we're about to become 2x, right? In terms of size of employees. So it was very important that the 16 people understood the core values and everything that the company that stood for them. And then when we became 31, it was 16 people equipping the incoming 15 people, right? And I've tried to implement that across different places of work. So define your culture, make it easily scalable and identifiable. And again, I think the last part is the bit around workforce planning and strategy. And I don't know how much of technicality I can explain here, but there are some roles that you really don't need to hire for. And it's interesting that I'm saying this as an HR because I'm supposed to be encouraging you to hire, right? But I genuinely think that sometimes you don't need 3 content marketers. You just need one, or you just need 2 that are versatile. Maybe you need 2 people that can write both long form content and short form content. Instead for hiring 1 long form, 1 short form, 1 SEO. You probably just need 1 writer. And I mean, my people know I'm always for employees. So I'm not saying overuse people. I'm saying that, in fact, let me teach you basic total rewards. Do you know that if you're hiring 3 writers, say all of them cost 500K each net pay? I'm using Naira, by the way, because of Nigeria. You know that you can hire, so 3 content writers, all of them cost, say, 700,000 Naira each net. You know, you can hire 2 writers, one that is, say, 800K and one that is 500K. And the 800K person is good in SEO and is long form. That way, you are not just saving the extra money, you're also saving the extra cost of an extra headcount. So when you're paying taxes, you are saving the taxes. When you're buying merch, you're saving money for merch, right? And that's how I think about workforce planning and succession planning. Do I need to hire this person? If I need to hire, I'm going to make the hire, definitely. In fact, sometimes I push for a larger number of hires. But it's very important that for every hiring you're making, you're saying, is the line manager not just coming to say, oh, and hey, Jesus, tech people do that a lot. I need 2 backend and 1 front-end engineer. Do you really need 2? Or are your current one ghosting you, right? So it's very important that we do those 3 thorough analysis. Bullet point number 1, don't scale as fast as your resources. Bullet point number 2, think about workforce planning, from a do I need this higher perspective. And number 3, ensure that you do not just say your culture, you codify your culture and you live it, so that as you expand, your culture expands accordingly.
Great. Great advice. I think we are learning, and we've learned a lot from this. Thank you, Emmanuel, Faith, for, I know this has been very hard for you. You have to move a lot of things around to be in order to be able to be with us. I appreciate you, and obviously a little but a lot, a lot of learning. All right. Obviously that's why we have experts. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and we still have David here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna give you the floor again, have you conclude on your side, and we let David conclude on his side as well, right? Give his final thoughts, and then we'll open the floor to the audience for any questions. I feel like I've asked enough questions now. Go on, Emmanuel.
Oh, okay. So you want me to sort of wrap up my thoughts, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I really love I love conversations like this, which is also one of the reasons why I moved a lot, and I wished I had more time to, like, talk about this online. I again, like I said, I don't know what percentage of the audience is founders to employees, employees to founders. For founders, I would say that you're a founder means that you've made a brave, bold decision that 9/10 of us cannot make, right? So you're already doing something great. You are doing adventurous stuff. It's very important, especially if you're like a technical founder. It's very important for you to either have a co-founder that is people oriented, or hire an HR person or a people person early enough, either on a full-time basis or a fractional consulting basis or on a consulting basis. Because as a founder, you're building products, you're ideating, you're doing MVP, you're pitching to business, you are iterating, you might have to do 4 or 5 batches before one is finally accepted. You are chasing Google Accelerator and all this funding. So you do not have even if you have the technical competence, sometimes you do not have the bandwidth and ability to attend to people. But what you don't want to happen is when you finally have your breakthrough from a business and product perspective, you have people problems. So yeah, always either have a co-founder that is people oriented or bring like a people partner in any capacity, either it's contract, full-time, fractional consulting, as much as possible. For employees in startup, I do generally think that you should, for whatever startup you're working with, either the funders are amazing or not, you should see yourself. I don't want to say see yourself as a co-founder. So I would say see yourself as a co-builder. One of the exciting thing about startups in 2025 is that you can do good measurable work. David was talking about what he watches out for in employees and was talking about like taking initiatives. Startups give you the ability, and I'm talking as someone that's worked with traditional companies before joining startups. Startups give you the ability to do a lot of things in a short period of time. And I think that there is nothing better for your career than doing that. So see yourself as a co-partner beyond the salary earner and do good, impactful, and measurable work. I think that those are the 2 bullet points I will say.
Absolutely. Brilliant. And I live by that. I share that. The most important thing for employees is to understand that they are partners, right? You're working together, especially the 10 first employees, right? You are partners, you own it, we own it. We're working together, we're working towards the same vision and same ambition, right? So work as you own it, right? And but also deliver like the way it should, right? There is a huge learning curve, as you said, that you cannot learn in a big company because there is discomfort, there are processes, it takes longer to build things because you gotta get approval from 1, 2, 3, 5 infinity people. Obviously, one of the greatest things or great things that you can do for your career is if you want to learn, if you're driven in terms of learning, is go at a place where you learn fast, and there is no better place than startups. Thank you, Emmanuel, for that final thought. Really appreciate you sharing your knowledge. I don't know if David is still with us. David, if you're still with us, you can please turn on your camera and share your final thoughts as well. David? Right. I don't know if David can hear us or if you're speaking, you're on mute. But in the meantime, we will move towards the audience. I'll give the floor to you guys. Please feel free to ask questions if you have any questions. I'm pretty sure there are some questions that you want to ask to Emmanuel or David. Feel free to ask your questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna ask you questions.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do we have francophone participants?
Yes, but I believe most of our audience speak English.
Oh, okay. No, I was just excited to see the translation in French and to also see some. I think I learn. Salut, mon ami, mes collègues.
En français, c'est ça.
Un peu.
All right. Anything from anyone? Our French-speaking people, you can ask your questions in French if you want. Yeah. Any questions from anyone? All right. David, are you with us now? All right. Okay, I think we are past our scheduled time by 15 minutes. Again, thanks both Emmanuel and David for the wonderful knowledge sharing here. We appreciate your time and thank you for doing this. And yeah, we hope the people that attended also you were able to learn something from this, and looking forward to having you into future AMA sessions, and let's learn and grow together and make our improve our content and get it to where it's supposed to be. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you for inviting me. I've also shared my LinkedIn app to connect with people.